Before I had children, I never understood postpartum depression. I was just like, how could you be upset about having a baby?
That is Ruth Pokes, a self-development and wellness coach, entrepreneur, and the founder of Pure Celi, a clean, cold-pressed celery elixir. As a mother of two navigating marriage to a touring musician, she reflects on the emotional shifts that can follow birth and why understanding those moments is essential to caring for your own well-being as a mother.
After Nathaniel was born, I remember saying, I understand how someone can get to the point of where they're like, keep this baby away from me. I get it.
She shares how motherhood reshapes your identity, stretches your emotional capacity while learning to care for a child and grow into a new version of yourself.
You go from having so much self-autonomy and being able to make decisions and just live your life to now you are simply existing for the benefit of another human being. And yes, that's your baby, but it's such a mindset shift.
Today, Ruth breaks down how to move through the shift with more compassion, honesty, patience, and how to feel like yourself again while becoming the mother you want to be. I'm Ezinne Asinugo-Onyeka, and this is the Goodmother Series. So, there's a ritual we have in the show, which is trying to pronounce my name correctly.
Oh, I can do that, I feel like.
Okay, go for it.
And I know I said that with so much confidence, and I'm just going to absolutely mess it up. Ezinne.
Close. You actually tried. It's close.
I tried.
Yeah. You did well. You actually did well.
Yeah.
But it is actually Ezinne.
Ezinne. Okay.
Yes, it goes down. And for bonus points, what do you think Ezinne means?
See, this is where I wish I was Igbo, not Yoruba. I don't know. Favor?
You people have come. At least you didn't start with God, because everyone that has done this has started with, oh, it must be something to do with God.
It must be something to do with God, because all Yoruba names are God is, God what, God literally. So my Yoruba name is Omowumi, which means I desire a child, but it's like, it's derivative from like, I desire a child from God. So everything is linked back to your maker.
To be honest, my middle name is linked to my maker for sure. That one, my middle name means I walk with God. So literally,
okay,
we're linked.
Yeah.
But my first name is Ezinne. Have a go. You said favor. I'll give you another try.
Creative. I'm just thinking, you're a dancer. You're really creative. So maybe
I love it.
Destined from birth. I don't know.
Do you know what? The last statement is pretty close to it.
Oh, destiny?
No, absolutely not. But you tried. You tried.
Well, at this point.
Okay, let me pull you out of your misery. Ezinne means good mother.
Really?
Yes.
I like that.
Well, thank you to my dad. He's the one that named me. But it aligns perfectly to my destiny, which I was able to find out after I had a child. So this is how this show was birthed.
That's impressive. I really like that.
Thank you. And to be honest, the purpose of it is like I started realizing there's a bit of Ezinne in every single mother that I meet. We're all good in our own ways. And the purpose of this show is to really just put more highlight on the real side of motherhood and just a very understanding place. Because I realized when I became a mom, there was not a lot of information for me, but like not research, because you can research stuff. I just wanted to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Like, what does it look like? So I hope throughout this conversation, you can be as open and as honest and as transparent as you want to be. And I am looking forward to hearing more.
Nice.
Okay. I want to know who Ruth was before a child arrived.
I think I've always been quite a complicated-esque person in the sense of like, I'm an introverted extrovert. So to some people, I'm really shy. And then to other people, I'm like, So I think before having my children, I was unsure. And I used to second guess myself a lot. And I think my identity was very much hooked into being a fantastic daughter, and everything that my parents had like set out for me to do. So that was where, I was, going fast up the corporate ladder, because as a Nigerian daughter, you're either a lawyer, an accountant, or a doctor. And I'm like, okay, I'm an accountant, and I'm just going and going and going, so that not necessarily because I cared or I wanted to, but just so that I could come back home and say to my mum and dad, like, I work for one of the big 4 companies in the world, and I'm a senior this, and just to have that pride moment. And I think a lot of that was rooted in an insecurity within myself, to just be what was expected, as opposed to actually sit down with myself and be like, well, actually, who are you? What do you care about? What do you want? What are your talents? What are your giftings? Where and in what area can you actually deposit into the world? So I'd say before Nathaniel, who's my first, he came, I would say I was quite insecure, but I still knew that there was something that I wanted to do, but I just didn't know how to verbalize it. I didn't have the verbiage for it. I'd say that I was somewhat just trying to find myself and just figure it out. There wasn't a certainty to my actions. I think that, like, I'm laughing because I'd probably say the only thing that I was really certain about was when I met Nana. I was like, God, I'm him, but outside of that, I was just trying to figure it out and just trying to fit into whatever box was assigned.
You said, how the African parents have a box. You said you went through the accounting lane.
Yeah, the initial idea was for me to become a doctor, and then I say to my parents, look, I get queasy at the sight of blood. Babe, if they trust me to go and do somebody's surgery, they might have to then help me up. But I get really queasy at the sight of that. I don't like to close all of that up. I don't like it. But I was just really, I'm an academic, so I was just really, I don't really have to be interested in something in order to just get it. So I think because I got it, it was just like, well, just go and do it then, And then I was just like, okay, fine. We're not going to do the doctor thing. I did a biomedicine degree, and that, I graduated, and everyone was like, okay, well now, because essentially biomedicine works out to like the first, I think it's like the first and the second, or either the first year of medical school. So everyone was like, okay, well now you can go to medical school. And I was like, nah, you don't like that. Don't like the sound of that. And it was just the idea of, you want me to sit down in somewhere for like 5 to 7 years? Come on. We've got things to do.
Honestly, we definitely do. Me and you are quite aligned, because I also did accounting as the vibe. I had a job in an investment banking firm. I was like, yeah. And then the dance hit me. And then I was like, Actually, and then my dad genuinely wanted me to be a doctor. I don't know. Listen, first, the doctor thing had to end, because even my school told them, like, listen, she's terrible. I'm sorry. Don't even try her with science. Like, she doesn't know a damn thing in this thing. And my dad is like, in, parents' evening. I was like, no, let her focus on it. Let her focus. And they're looking at him like, this girl hates this thing. This girl hates this thing.
There was one parents' evening that we had in school, and like I said, like, I'm quite an academic, so I'm really good at it, but I just don't like the subject. So when we was in parents' evening, me and my mum were sitting down, and they would say that, like, Ruth, she's really good at her work, but she just doesn't concentrate in the class.
Mm-hmm.
If you see the way my mum was pinching me under the table, like, you silly girl, we're telling you to be medicine, you're not concentrating in the class. I was just there like, because I don't
like it. Exactly.
Yeah, so that is, it's so funny when you think back to that time, because again, you're just trying to be what your parents have set out, because that is the standard of, you've made it, you've succeeded, you're a good daughter, you're listening, you're obedient, and I think all of us, we strive to want to make our parents proud. Like, that's the innate kind of aspiration first and foremost.
Absolutely. And the big whammy is somebody will marry you. That was my dad's own core thing. Like, will somebody marry you as a dancer? Like, what is wrong with you? Yo, I suffered in these hands. Like, I was just like, guys, like, I have a personality. I'm funny.
I'm fun.
Give me something. You said nobody's gonna take you seriously. Too hilarious. So I want to ask you, Where are you in motherhood right now? What season is this for you?
Running to my goals. I'm running, and I think my baby's at a stage where, if I'm being so honest, I think, like, I love being a mum, and I genuinely think I was born to do this. Like, I just do it. Like, me and my boys, we just go, but I do think it doesn't define the entirety of who I am. I'm a businesswoman. There's so many interests that I have outside of just being a mum. But I'm also very clear in that every single thing else is leading back to the vision of the life that I want to be able to create for my children, with my husband, but also just as a mum for myself, to be able to say that last, these boys are good,
When Nana is away, what does your day actually look like in reality? Because Nana is normally not away just one day. He can be away for...
My days are productive. My days are... This is what I'm saying. Like, when we first got married and he'd say, oh, he's going. I remember there was one time I cried.
Yeah.
Like, I was sobbing. I was like, miss Dad. And then he called me when he got to the airport. So we have this thing where, like, you leave the house and when you get to the airport, you call me. When you checked in, if we're not still speaking from when you got to the airport, you call me. You call me before you fly. Like, we have our checkpoints. So I remember, but I think, again, I was really heavily pregnant 100%. At the time. And I was just really, really sad. Now, I'm like, babe, how many days are you going to be away from? And he'd be like, oh, I'm away for 10 days. And I'm like, okay, cool. So from the 5th, I can have like meetings back to back to back to back. I don't really have to worry about dinner too much. Use my time wisely. I don't have anybody that's coming home and just wants to gist. We're on 2 different time zones. I've got work to do. The boys have their routine. I don't mind. I'm in super mum mode. And it's funny because I miss my man. I love him so much. And I miss him when he's away for days. And in as much as I'm like, see ya, towards like the end of it, I'm like, okay, we're going back home now.
I actually had something similar to this. My husband went away for... We've never done a 1 month gap like that since having Ethan. And I literally was like you. I was like, oh no, this is going to be terrible. This is going to be bad. And when he leaves, I say,
just get to it. Like, yeah. Do you know what it is?
Do all of this work? Yeah.
And I think as a mom, you're just so used to balancing all the time, right? And especially like if you're a mom and then you're also like a wife on top of that and you're in a relationship, because you know that there are different things that's expected of you at each different level. I know that when he's home, when he's around, I'm juggling my business, I'm juggling my babies, I'm juggling him to a certain extent as to like catering to him. And I think when he's away, it frees up that extra load a little bit so that you can actually, the kids go to nursery from like 7:30. So once they're out of the house, I then have the day to do my work. And then we have our routine. They then get back home. I then put them to bed. And then I'm able to then decompress and actually plan ahead and plan the day after and all of these things. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm ecstatic when he's away, but I think to better use my time. And so that when he get back, I can fully pour into him as well and not feel like I'm juggling so many things. I remember even like a lot of me building the initial frameworks of my business was when he was on tour during summer last year. And that was like a 6-week period or something. And because I could just, when the boys are asleep or they're at nursery, I could just lock in, and just do what I need to do and plan and actually envision it. And that doesn't mean we're not speaking every 5 minutes, but it's just, there is a lot more mental capacity for you to do,
There's one thing, your partner being in your face, because then you have the extra catering, the cooking at the time that they need it to be cooked and all of that. And it takes a lot of mental stress as well. So not having that, literally, I actually saw the benefits because I was just like, when are you going again?
Yeah.
When do you want to go? I may not be mad at this at all.
Because you just kind of just have some time back. And that's not to say, like we didn't go marry men who are independent and can do things by themselves, but it just means that naturally I'm a carer. I want to give to you. I want to be able to serve you, and I want to be able to love on you. And that requires time, energy, and mental capacity.
I think Nana gave you the cheat code by his job, because this is the real cheat code. This is the cheat code of still maintaining singleton mindsets and still being married. This is the cheat code, ladies. Find you a man that be traveling.
I'm a man that is busy.
It's busy.
I'm a man that has things to do. Okay, please. Because there's those people that are at home all the time. That don't do,
honestly.
please. Again, and I also think as well, there's this level of balance or like synergy that we have, because he is busy and he's unapologetically chasing his goals. There is an influence that has on me as well. And then I'm also he also understands that, okay, I need that time to also go ahead and do that. And one thing, and what I was speaking about earlier in terms of even what I was saying to Nathaniel the other day, I was just like, I was saying to him that, when mummy and daddy are out of the house, mummy and daddy are chasing their dreams, and it's good to chase your dreams. And I was like, Nathaniel, when you get older, you have to chase your dreams, and because ultimately, the thing that we're doing is pouring back into our household, is pouring back into our children. And I also want them to apologetically chase their dreams, So, yeah.
That's beautiful. What is the biggest misconception people have about your life? Especially from a social media perspective, because that's where a lot of people may know you.
Yeah, I think that I have it all together, or I package well.
You don't?
Yeah,
I don't.
I don't. I really don't. It's so funny because me and my friend, Hev, right? Hev, David's wife. You may know.
Yeah,
we're really close. We're really close. And one thing we were literally speaking about maybe an hour ago was the fact that there is so much to me that I think people don't see. Like, you see you package yourself well, but you also don't see the fact that I'm literally on my knees praying to God like 20 times a day. I'm fasting. I'm in my Bible. I'm dropping the kids from A to Z, and I'm like spending time with them. I'm sitting down and I'm reading with them. And, if I need to go to an event, I've made like 20 logistical plans in order to get them there and to make sure that they're good. And I'm cooking for like next week because I know that I've got to do, and I may not be able to do that. So I think there is a lot about me. And I think also this goes back to like, I find like, vlogging really hard. Like actually vlogging your day-to-day life. I find it so hard. I've got things to do. I don't have
you need two hands. You need two hands.
You need three because the two are doing, and then you need like another one as a headshot to just. I'm just like I'm zooming around all the time, just trying to make sure that there is no part of our life that is like I'm dropping the ball, if that makes sense. But that's also a personal for me that I'm also working through, because you can't be perfect, but I'm really involved in my family. I'm really, God is the center. I'm really involved in my children. And I think how I package is just very much like the surface, but there's so much more under that. I think that might be the biggest conception, that she's good. And I'm like, guys, I'm thugging it out, and it's so funny that I think, yeah.
No, I feel like you're thugging it out, but I think also like your work in helping people understand how to deal with their own load. There's something that you said that I loved, and I was just like, yeah, I will implement this. I think this was part of your creative stress management, and you said name it and tame it. And I said, yeah, I gotta name this problem and tame it, because what? This is intense. it was just such an important, you stressed out a few, I think you spoke about 3 different ways and for you to creatively manage your stress. And, but that particular name it and tame it hit home for me because I felt like sometimes I don't stop to address why I am feeling the way I am feeling and address that head on. I just keep going. And I think that fools a lot of mums out there. We're just going, because it never really stops. So you just keep going for it. And I want to ask you, like, what part of you feels stretched right now?
I think every part of me feels stretched right now, but I also liken stretching to growing. So I'm comfortable stretch, if that makes sense. It's not easy, but I'm really happy that there is a stretch happening, because then that means that there is expansion happening, and that's a good thing. That's all what we want. It doesn't mean that I don't feel like there's a lot on my plate, or like I don't feel overloaded. But I also think there is an element to, I think there is good load and then there is like bad load, and you have to be able to decipher the two. And it's the bad load that you then need to learn how to strategically manage, just so that it then completely overwhelm you. And a part of that is very much like naming it to tame it. Is very much being able to say, like, look, I'm at capacity, or I'm feeling overwhelmed, or there is a lot on my plate, or I'm feeling quite sad at the minute, or I'm just not understanding my feelings and I just need some time. And that's where, like, your support network comes in. And it's important for you to kind of have people around you that see you, not just as the busy mum or the person that's trying to do everything, but as an individual. As I always say to, like, my people, like, I'm actually just a girl, I'm just a girl figuring it out. I've before, I've never been a wife before, I've never been a business owner before. I'm just trying to figure it out. And I think having that level of vulnerability to the people that are closest, it allows them to see you and know when it's time to tap in and when it's time to, you go and take a break, go and sit down somewhere. But that also starts with you being able to identify what is going on with you, and so that you can then proceed to deal with it and to tame it, essentially. So I am feeling incredibly stretched everywhere right now. But I've also been able to delegate the parts that I'm like, I can't deal with that. Able to communicate and be like, this is what I'm going through. So I apologize if I'm a little bit short, or if I'm a little bit, if you feel like I'm not overly focused on what you're saying, because my mind is in 20 different places. There is me communicating with my children and saying, like, if mummy and daddy are out of the house quite a lot over the next few weeks, it's because of this, and reframing it in a way where it feels like, oh, mummy and daddy are chasing their dreams. That feels really good, as opposed to, oh, where's daddy? So now I could pick up Nathaniel from nursery and he'd be like, and we have this thing where when Nana's home, he picks them up. So I pick them up. Nathaniel will be like, oh, mummy, is daddy at the studio? And I'm like, yes, daddy's at the studio. He's like, oh, that's nice. And then, we get in the car and we call his dad, and he gets to see his dad. But now it's gone from a feeling of, I want my dad, to, oh, okay, daddy is. And so I think there is feeling stretched, but then there's also a strategy that can be applied to ensuring that it doesn't then consume you.
Hey, quick pause for a moment. If this conversation resonates with you, or something you are living through rather than just listening to, you are not alone. We are bringing together a small community of women who are navigating similar shifts, sharing their stories, reflections, and lived experience without pressure to have it all figured out. It's not about advice or perfection. It's about being in conversation with people who understand the change. If you would like to be part of that space, check the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to join the community. Now, back to the episode. I think also what I'm hearing is, like, sometimes people underestimate the intelligence of children, that they're able to grasp a lot of things at a very young age when spoken to honestly and positively. And I think that's what I'm picking up from the conversation, because I don't think you guys are shielding the reality of your life from them. You're kind of welcoming them into it with a positive outlook, so that they already get used to that program of dad travels and it's okay.
Yeah. And I think that helps their emotional balance as well, because we don't realize how that as children, they're still learning how to have emotions, how to communicate their emotions. And we have a big part to play in that. And this is why even like they say, it's not good to shout in front of your kids. It's not good to argue in front of your kids, because they absorb whatever we're giving off. So purposefully reframing certain things as a positive experience, they only but naturally see that as a positive thing. Obviously, unless it, physically makes them feel bad or it hurts them or anything like that. But like even in the telling off, there's a way to reframe it in a way where it's like, mommy and daddy we're not angry, we're not sad, but we know that you can do better. Smart, and you're really brilliant, and da 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 da, and then now a telling off feels like, sometimes I say to Nathaniel, it's like, but you shouldn't be doing that, and he's like, I know, Mum, smarter than that. You're smarter than that, as opposed to like, oh no, why are they shouting at me, and da 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 da.
Yeah, almost like a redirection of mind, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a lot that adults even struggle with as well,
because our parents didn't give it to us. We were here. They were just shouting at us anyhow. And we had to just
shout it up and down.
Honestly, you just be like, what did I do? Like, God. Honestly. And it's obviously, even growing up in like a Nigerian household, shouting is the starting range. It's not even...
Oh my God. I think that's why I've been so intentional that like, I just don't want to shout at these up, because, and if I shout, just know that it's like, I've tried everything, because that was like the first bus stop for the people that I'm coming from. They just shout.
Yeah, it's literally opening sentence. Ethan, my first son, used to be scared, like when he was born, because every time like his dad talks on that level, and this is conversation with his dad's friends or they're watching football, he just starts crying. He's like, why is everybody shouting? Because Ethan is so peaceful. But another thing, I feel like, listen, Ruth, I'm thinking about it now. You actually won the jackpot, because you then went to go and my Ghanaian man of peace.
Yeah.
She said, now the whole house is going to be so chilled, so relaxed. Honestly, they really don't.
It's so funny because everyone looks at Nana and thinks, oh, he's the da-da-da-da. But I think I'm actually the more like...
No, Nana is so peaceful. Like, please. Like, nobody can tell me. As soon as you see your Ghanaian, I'm just like, you people move like with wind of peace. Like, you're just...
Nothing trouble. But do you know what? It's good.
It has its own quirks. I think it's like, it's good, but if you meet a Ghanaian person that is not driven and lives in that windy peak, you'll just get frustrated, because it's like, guy, move now. Like, do something.
Stand up.
Speak up. But yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, girl, you out here be winning the jackpot. The traveling husband, the peaceful husband, girl. Lucky for you. Okay, so when you found out, Ruth, that you were pregnant, what shifted for you? Because obviously you were finding out in the middle of your wedding season. So what shifted for you? You take the test, you find out you're pregnant. What's the moment like for you?
First thing I literally said is, I can't eat sushi for 9 months. That was the first thing I said. Nana was just like, are you serious? I was like, I can't eat sushi for 9 months. Are you okay? And that was the first thing that came to my mind. And then I ordered abula from Enish, and I sat on the floor. And I just ate abula, and I went to bed. Then I texted my best friend, and I was just like, man. But I would say the biggest shift was, okay, cool, let's go. And I think I'm like that. Like, whenever anything happens that perhaps it takes me a while to process, my initial response is, all right, cool, let's just go, let's move. So I wouldn't say I was like destabilized by it. I was just very much, all right, cool, let's go.
That's exciting. Did you ever feel like the strong one? Because I'm still, in my head, I'm still imagining that even when you gave birth, Nana was still traveling.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I mean, he travels for work, but it wasn't extensive. Like, he was very much around.
Okay. So during your postpartum, you still had that support in that time. Okay, that's fantastic. And who else was your village, I guess? Because I thought I would have a village. To my shock of the crickets. It was crickets. But I learned quite quickly that it's because I was the last to have a child in my family. So everybody had kids and had responsibilities. So me, I'm currently pregnant at the moment, which cracks me up because... Listen, don't be fooled. There's a whole situation. There's a whole situation happening here.
Oh, congratulations. This is number 2, right?
Number 2 and 2 and done. Yeah, that's where we are.
Okay, 2 and done. Yeah.
I could remember, like, you know, everybody with this pregnancy, my sister-in-law, yes, I'm calling her out, invited me over to her house last week. And I was like, yeah, I have to come. Yeah, I'm thinking about my driving while pregnant. She was like, oh, I forgot you were pregnant again. I said,
honestly, people just stop doing it. Yeah, people stop doing it.
People
are busy.
Don't have time to. They have their own problems. They said,
people are busy. It's so funny because I could tell the stark difference. When I was pregnant with Nathaniel, it's like I was everybody's egg. I was like, oh, where do you need? Like, I remember my dad would bring me ice cream to the house because ice cream is like my favorite thing to eat. When I was pregnant with Nicholas, everyone's like, we'll see you when we see. We hope you're well.
Like, my mom's favorite one. I'm praying for you.
I'm praying for you. You'll be fine. Honestly, because at that point, everybody is busy. Yeah. But I will say, and I still do. I have an incredible village. I do. In front, I do. When I was pregnant with Nathaniel, from my mom to my mother-in-law to my sisters, and I mean like that, sisters and sister-in-law, and to like our friends, I do have a really, really good village.
No, enjoy. I'm enjoying through you. I said, even this one, I've prepared my heart to be alone. I said, I have no interest in putting my mind to any help. Like, because I think the worst is when you have an expectation and then it's not met. Then you just feel like you want to fight everybody. Now, if you help me, wow, Jesus is Lord. If you don't, it's okay. I'm good. I'm not upset. I get it. Life is life, you know. Okay. I don't know how your pregnancies were. Did you have a vaginal birth or did you have a cesarean? What was that for you?
I had 2.
You had 2 C-sections.
Yeah, but it's so, it's not annoying. Glory to God for it all. But during my pregnancies have always felt so easy. There's a running joke that, like, if you see, like, when I'm pregnant, it's just like going to pick up milk from the shop. I just do it. And it's like, my bump is really cute. I can still wear my clothes. Like, I've only ever bought 1 pair of maternity jeans and I still wear them after being pregnant because they're actually not maternity jeans. Like, they're really cute. So I don't really carry heavy. I just sit there and I carry on my life for 9 months. But then when it comes to the births, that's when it's like, oh.
Talk to me about that birthing day.
Oh my God. Nathaniel's one was an emergency C-section. And so that was like, oh crap, you know? And it just felt like it literally I remember towards the end of Nathaniel, so Nathaniel was born New Year's Eve, towards the end of his, before he came, I was just like, I'm so over this. So I went to go have like acupuncture. I made like a whole blend of like pineapple, everything that they said would induce labor. I was meant to have a water birth at home. So we had like a swimming pool and it was just like lovely and This boy did not budge. My waters broke on Thursday evening and it was like a big gush to the point where Nana came in. Nana was like, it wasn't meant to be like this. This is not what I saw on the internet. Like, it was like a pool. It was just insane. And then, and my midwife came to the house and she was like, okay, we're going to get baby along. This boy did not budge. He did not budge.
He's Ghanaian. He is peacefully in there.
They said, please, I'm going for my third nap. Like, he didn't even move. And then we went to the hospital because at that point, he'd been out of his waters for too long. So we couldn't have the water birth. So we had to go to the hospital. So when we got to the hospital, I was in so much pain. And then it was just like he would come down a little bit and then he'd go back up, he'd come down a little bit. So then at that point, they were like, okay, yeah, he's actually been out of his sac for too long. We need to go and do an emergency C-section. And surprisingly, I was back to the gym like a week after. Like, I'm just kind of like, cool, that was Nathaniel's birth. Nicholas's birth that was really painful.
Was that, obviously, since you had the cesarean the first time, was that just you opted for a cesarean for the second, or did you try VBAC?
No, I was like, let them.
I said, cut me up. That's me now. Cut me up.
Let's not go. And I think, naturally, as with the stigma is like, oh, you should have a cesarean, a C-section is not good. I told you, if my baby's here safely and I'm there after my baby's safety, that is the best thing that I could have done. And I just think I just wasn't willing to chance. I remember even with Nicholas as well, there was a point where they're like, oh, his heart rate is dropping. So I was like, get my baby out of me now, way, like, get my kid out of me. And glory be to God, again, I've just had such good bounce back experiences since after the cesareans that I think perhaps for Nathaniel, it was more so the thing of like, oh, you had a C-section, oh, da, da. But for Nicholas, I opted for it. But yeah, that's what, because I just was not willing to chance anything prolonging itself that would possibly affect my baby. That's just, yeah.
No, makes sense. I'm looking to opt for a cesarean, but because baby's smaller than the first, I kind of opened my heart to a VBAC. But I gave them strict instructions. I said, if by the 13th this baby hasn't arrived, cut me up.
Yeah. But this is the thing, and I think it's so funny because like in LA, a lot of the women there, cesareans, it's so funny how it's like different things mean different things to people in different cultures. So cesareans in like the rich white community, these women they schedule their births. As in, I'm having a baby on the 13th, I've got a nail appointment in the morning, and then after the baby comes, someone's going to come to my house on the day after, because they've planned it, as in they plan the day, they schedule it in like an appointment. Whereas in our community, it's almost like
you have to suffer.
And you have to push that baby out. I told you.
I said, when I tried labor, I was like, labor from 7 till like 3 a.m. I said, and they said, I'm only 1 centimeter dilated. I said,
I think it will humble you. It will humble you. It will humble you. What do you mean? I've been in pain for 10 hours and you're going to be 1 centimeter?
Since?
1?
I said, bros, please, just cut me up. It's not that serious.
Just take this baby out of me. As long as I see my baby, that is all that matters. So literally, the first time I was like, oh my God. And then the second time, I was just like, I looked at Nana, I was just like, have they put them out yet? And I was just like, yes. I was just like, let's wrap it up. Let me carry my baby. I mean, yeah, because that the most important thing is for you to have a baby that's healthy, hearty, and whole. And I think so much pressure on having it done a particular way because somebody said the right way. Like,
who said that? It wasn't us.
Who said that?
Okay, so we've actually made light of like how you are able to maneuver your life with the kind of lifestyle that you have and the setup you have in your family. But I want you to dig deep. I want you to tell me, what's the hardest night you've ever had alone while your husband was working?
Oh God, I vividly remember my Nicholas Nathaniel, my first, he was such a good sleeper. As in, like, he didn't give me the experience of waking up every 2 hours and like that one. From put him to bed at 9, he can wake up at like 9 the next morning, to the point where I had to even start checking him, like, Bros, I hope you're fine. But Nikki, that baby, he just didn't like any little thing could wake him up. So I remember there was one night when Nana was away and he cried from like, I'd say maybe like 1 a.m. And it's like the dusk of the night, like when they really do stuff, like it won't be maybe like 11 p.m. or it'll be like 3 to like just the dusk of night. So I remember he cried from like 1 to like 5 in the morning. I was tired. I was so tired. And to the point where I started crying and I was just like, Nikki, please. I was like, please, just stop. Yeah, it was, oh God. And again, this was like just after birth. So I'm still healing a little bit. And whatever milk I was giving him, it just wasn't enough. The boy's a big eater. So I was just really tired, exhausted, sleep deprived. And this boy stopped crying and there was nothing that I could have done to help him out. I tried everything. Would not stop crying. And I remember I called Nana and I was just like, I need you to come home. Like, I'm tired. This morning, I think like my mum came, my mother-in-law, and everyone was just like, you go upstairs and sleep and we'll look after, which was really, really helpful for me.
Helpful, yeah. While you were on the call with Nana, did resentment ever creep in? Where it's like,
I think it does. I think that's natural, 100%. Even if he wasn't away, I think when a baby comes into the mix, because the load is so heavy on the mum, resentment comes in,
Even my own resentment started during pregnancy. And listen, it was how Ugo would hop off the bed with so much speed. Just that alone used to drive me nuts. And then there would be me. And this man is like, I'm just like, if only you knew what was in my head.
It's a life change. I remember there was one time when Nana was just like, I think they had a show in like this festival or something like that. And he was just like, it'll be fun. You come. And I remember I looked at him and I was just like, first of all, I'm 7 months pregnant. Where do you expect me to go to a festival full of people that anyone can push me and I can fall on the floor and have this baby? And then on top of that, I have to be careful about the noise range that I allow because babies' ears are developing. I'd read myself to nonsense. I was like, babies' ears are developing, so I have to be careful about the noise exposure. He looked at me, he said, yeah, but all I said was come to the show, And I remember I just looked at him and I was just like, your body's not changing. You don't know what's going on. I have to protect my baby because this is my baby. And I just, honestly, I look back at that time and I just think, baby, I think you needed maybe I just needed to sleep because I was just overly emotional. But I do think that resentment, though is a negative word, I do think it's just part of the natural human experience. If you're and the load falls heavily on one side, resentment will naturally creep in. Now, what you do about that resentment is where the issue starts.
And what did you do about yours?
I spoke to him. It was very candid. I was just like, this feels really unfair. It feels really unfair that we are both having this baby, yet it's my body that's changing. It's my life that has to change. I'm the one that has to take the break from work. I'm the one that get up and go to dinner and socialize like I want to or like I used to. I'm the one that has to breastfeed and, and wake up in the middle of the night. And, and oh my God, it used to drive me nuts because Nana doesn't wake up in the middle of the night. Like he's such a deep sleeper. So this baby be crying and I'm looking at him and he's on his like second turnover. And I'm like,
and when they're just enjoying that sleep and you're just like, ow.
I remember one day I picked Nicholas up and he was crying. And I looked at Nana and he just turned over. I was like, I was so angry. And then I think we had friends around that day and one of my friends, it's so funny that it was that particular day, one of my friends had said like, oh, does Nicholas sleep through the night? Before I could even answer, Nana was like, oh yeah, he's a great sleeper. He sleeps through the night. I looked at him like this. He's a great sleeper because you don't wake up when he cries. So you're thinking he's a great sleeper. And I know he's absolutely not sleeping because I'm the one that wakes up. So it's like naturally imbalance sets in, and you're just like,
And naturally, it's even worse for mums, you know,
yeah.
because there is that. I used to be a deep sleeper, and I used to be scared that if I have a child, the house could be burning and I wouldn't wake up. So that was like an anxiety for me. So I was so scared not to know that the way God packages us when we become mothers is that our hearing and our feeling is like
deeper.
It's just intense. And I could hear.
I just wake up and cry.
Yes. I thought I was the only one. You could hear them before it happens.
And then you just start blaring. And I'm like, okay, yeah. It's so crazy. It's so crazy how it works. I don't know how it works. Or I remember there was one time I'd left him with my mum, and you know, when you're out and you're breastfeeding, my boob starts to get really, really full. I was in Shoreditch and my mum was with him in Essex. And I remember calling her and I was just like, Mummy, is he okay? And she was just like, no, he's just crying. And I was just like, I could feel it. Where I am, I could feel that this boy he's not 100%. It's so crazy. I don't know how, but it's so crazy.
No, that's the gift. That's the nurturing that, you know, God designed us in such unique and incredible ways as mothers. Like, I think for a long time, I didn't understand like certain things about moms. But once I became a mom, even sometimes, I don't know if you experience it, but your nipples would be tingling and it's almost like they're hungry and it's going, You're just like, what's going on?
Yeah. Your whole body becomes a factory to just maintain this baby's life. That in itself can be extremely overwhelming, you know, extremely overwhelming because you, especially for new mums, because you go from having so much self-autonomy and being able to make decisions and just live your life to now you are simply existing for the benefit of another human being. And yes, that's your baby, but it's such a mindset. So it's so funny because before I had children, naturally you grow up around, coming from a big Nigerian family, I grew up around children. So I'll be honest and say I never understood postpartum depression. It wasn't, I don't even think it was something that I sympathized with because I was just like, how could you be upset about having a baby? You know, I just didn't understand it. And I remember saying to Nana one night after Nathaniel was born, I was just like, never in my life have I understood something or understood why someone could feel something so much. I unequivocally understand how someone can get to the point of where they're like, keep this baby away from me. I get it. And I sympathize with it so much because though that was not my personal experience, it's hard, man.
And it's a big jump.
It's a big jump, especially those first few nights when baby's also adjusting and you're also adjusting and your body's doing all these things. You're leaking from every single corner of yourself.
Oh, you're getting me excited when this baby comes. I'm now I'm remembering, oh, this is what I was going through as well at the beginning. I'm going to do this again. Oh, gosh.
Newborn phases. And I think this is the reason. So like, you know, the people, the family, the communities have started saying, oh, are you guys gonna, you know, number 3 wouldn't be bad just to manage it.
Do you want more?
I don't want to answer that because there's one answer that represents me. There's another answer that represents us.
No, today is all about you. So what do you want? Do you want more?
Do you know what? I think it's complicated because I see boys now and I'm like, I'd love to, you know, if God willing, give you a sister. Or like, I can only imagine what 3 boys would be like. And I have so much fun with them right now because they're in their toddler phase. They're able to, they have a little bit more independence. You know, they play and they do their own thing. But I'm telling you, see that newborn phase?
That first 6 months.
It's for the strong and for the strong alone. Like I just cannot get my mind around being like, okay, that time again.
Listen.
Okay.
I think because I carried easy, I've had easy pregnancies as well. So I think I was telling Ugo, I was like, yeah, I think I might be open to one more. Best believe my husband cackled at me. Like he cackled like you must be mad.
Wait, you know when people say family planning? This is real family planning because you have to weigh the pros and the cons.
He said, in this economy, oh hell no. He's like, if we were back home, yeah, he'll be more cool with the concept of having a larger family, which I understand. I think sometimes when I sit with Ethan, it's just the love. It's different. I don't know. I can't explain it, but sometimes I can just look at him and I'm like, wow, life just feels like perfect. Why can't we do more of these? You know, but then in reality, when he now, because he's potty training, when he now does a poo and you're just like, I beg.
Come on. Come on.
Yo, I had a whole jump for joy yesterday when he said, Mommy, I want to poo poo. I said, eh?
What a guy.
What a guy.
Bro,
Let's be going.
well done.
Oh my gosh.
It's the different stages. And I think that's what I've always been interested in. Like, there is a stage with the newborn where, though it's tough in the middle of the night, they don't really need much. They sleep all the time. So you also get a little bit of yourself back, right? And I think it's been designed so perfectly. And then there's toddler stage where, okay, yeah, they have a little bit more independence, but now you could turn around and one person has thrown themselves off the chair and the other person is, these boys, they do the most dangerous things and gotten into a new phase of where one will stand at the top of the stairs and throw himself down. So you're now constantly just trying to just help them keep themselves alive.
Oh gosh.
And then you get to the other phase and now they're a little bit more independent and they don't need you as much and you do what you need to do, but then now they're a little bit more emotionally complicated and you have now like having certain conversations with them. So there's so many moments that is like, you have to just keep weighing the pros and the cons, but it is the most beautiful thing. I honestly think I really like this version of myself more than I've ever liked in life.
You did something that is so real right now. It's the big sigh and but I love it. Like, that is the real life of motherhood. Like it's
motherhood is like,
but let's go again.
But I like them. I really did. Like, I was speaking to my friend the other day, and one of them had, like, you know, when they get in between your feet, so like got in between my feet, and I'd like turn around and I whacked my head against the door, but like the corner, I had like a really big coco. I think you might even be able to see it if the light hits it, but I had a really big coco. And then one of my friends had messaged me, and she was saying something along the lines of like, we always send each other like fun mum memes. And one of them was like, oh, would you go again kind of thing. And I sent her a video as I had the ice pack on my head, massaging my coco. And I said, don't ever ask me this kind of a stupid and I was like, but then Nicholas came in and he was just like, and bear in mind he's one. He was just like, sorry, mommy, I'm so sorry, mommy. And I was just like, it's okay, baby. And I'm like, hold my ice pack and I'm hugging him.
What can you do? It's called balance, baby. It's called balance. You got the balance. Gosh. Okay. So when you strip away wife, mom, coach, who is Ruth now?
I'm content. I'm really self-assured. Yeah, I'm just really I'm really just happy in what I'm doing, what God is doing, and just I'm happily existing, if that makes sense. Like outside of all the things. Because like I said, this is the most self-assured I feel like I've ever been. I'm so clear in the things that I want to do, the things that I want, the things that I like, the things that I don't like, that I want to hang with, the people that I don't want to hang around. Like I'm so clear, and I'm not angry, I'm not sad, I don't feel deflated. I feel really content.
Yeah, that's beautiful. No, I can feel it as well. Talking to you, you seem to be in your motion. Like you're just in motion and living and just enjoying what life has got to give and what God has blessed you with. And I think that's what I also feel while talking to you as well. Okay, so we're going to move on to one of my favorite parts of the show. It's called Stop Doing That. What's something people say about being a mom, married, anything that you really need to just tell them to just stop doing that.
That is their whole personality. Like, stop it. No, stop. It's not your whole personality. Like they just make it like their whole. It's enough. Like you're still a fine babe. You know, like come on. You know, and I just think sometimes we get so caught up in like, you know, oh, wife and I'm a mom. That's nice, but there's still much more. You have much more depth to you. You know. So yeah, that's one thing I'm still doing. So
my favorite point is like even picking up back of that is like when you know, you hang around with your friends who are moms and then all you talk about is the kids. And I'm like, guys, can we talk about anything else?
There's politics.
Do you understand?
Like, come on, what's your goals? You know, like,
what's your ambition? What are we doing?
You know, like let's talk about that. And I think, but I do think there's a balance. Like, I think, you know, you can have your mum friends, and obviously naturally you'll be like, oh, this is what has done, and it's nice. But when that becomes like your whole identity, I just think it's such a slippery slope, because these kids will also grow one day and they will also elevate and become their own independent people. And what you find is that you can really see the difference between the moms that made this whole part of their life their whole life, because once they've now transitioned into adulthood, they're now looking around and they're like, oh my God, what have I done for the last 20 years? Like, what do I have for myself? You know, and then you see like the healthy relationships between children that can come back home and say to their parents, oh, you know, like, what are you up to? And yeah, my mum and dad travel and da. And then the ones who are like calling you to come home every other day because they don't really have anything else that they're really doing.
No, that's a fair one. That's a fair one for sure. Okay. We have our mum hotline where we have some writings and we just want you to weigh up on it. And let's read you some. Okay, it says, my husband is popular. Women message him constantly. Some are harmless and some are bold. I've seen DMs that made my stomach drop. He tells me not to worry, and that's part of his job. He says I am secure and mature enough to handle it. But I didn't sign up to compete with strangers online. I didn't sign up to share my husband emotionally with the public. Some days I feel strong, other days I feel small. And the worst part, I feel guilty for feeling jealous because technically he has done nothing wrong. My question is, how do I protect my marriage without losing my peace?
Oh, do you know what? I think this is really, and it hits close to home because I've got a really popular husband, and, you know, and I think boundaries is really important, and letting your person know what your boundaries are is incredibly important. If your boundary is you don't like people sending him messages because it makes you feel uncomfortable, you have every right to feel uncomfortable because that's your own human emotion. Now, what you do with that is obviously then up to you. And I think this is where communication and really strong communication comes in, particularly in relationships. Being able to clearly tell your person, listen, this messaging thing, as harmless as you may see it, it invades my boundaries. Is there something that you can do about it? Whether it's that, you know, you don't respond, or you just let those messages lay there. Even though you don't see it as harmless, but for me, that would mean a lot to me, you know. And I think just being clear on what your boundaries are and how safe you feel in your relationship as well. And they could also be another thing in understanding why you don't feel safe enough or why those things do trigger you. Could it be that, you know, you have gone through a huge transition, and as women do who become new mums, I think we all have moments of feeling insecure where we don't body anymore. So could that be something that you then kind of need to look into for yourself, and then just communicate it with your person that, you know, I'm just not feeling fantastic right now. So maybe we just need more moments of where it's just us and we're connected, and that is now pouring into me more so that my cup isn't feeling empty, and things like this aren't phasing me or making me think that you know, you've become distracted or your eyes are elsewhere kind of thing. think it starts with clear communication, setting out your boundaries, understanding back to naming and taming it, understanding what emotion of what it is that you're feeling, understanding where this insecurity is coming from, and you can do about it, because again, we are all I think we all have to be accountable with self as well, but then also your partner understand what he can help you do with it as well. I think it's really important.
That's great. That's great. Okay, next one. He says, I used to be ambitious. I had plans and I had my own momentum. Now I'm the stable one at home while my husband's career grows louder and bigger. People introduce me as his wife, not my name, not my work. And sometimes I wonder, if I didn't push myself, would I disappear completely? My question is, how do I grow without turning my marriage into competition?
I think it's the intention. If your intention is to grow because you have personal ambitions that you want to achieve, then you should be allowed to do that. But if your intention is to compete with the spotlight that your husband is getting, then that's a different matter, because your win is his win and his win is your win. And that's just personally how I see it. But I also think that there is nothing wrong with understanding that, again, particularly as women, we get the brunt of the different stages of life. There are some times where, you don't have the ability to be outside and doing all the things that he's doing. Why? Because body's not even allowing you to do that, but there are times when those babies will garner a little bit of independence, and then you can do that. And I think it's very important. What I would say is to definitely write down the goals, be very clear on the things that you're trying to achieve, because in as much as those things can be achieved with loud noises, they can also be achieved with little movements and little actions all the time. And I always say, like, the first step to conquering a mountain is the first step, literally just the first step. And it may just, but it's literally just the first step. So if there are things that you want to achieve, write it down, make it clear, and give yourself certain things that you can do every single day from now that you can do, or that you can implement to achieve those goals, that don't necessarily cause there to be competition in your marriage. There shouldn't be competition.
Okay, one more. This one's a bit of a tough one. It says, my husband thinks posting our children occasionally is harmless. It helps engagement and people love family man content. I feel uneasy. I don't want my children to grow up searchable. I don't want their faces tied to a brand. We've argued about it. He says I am overthinking. I say he's underthinking. My question is, when visibility pays the bills, who gets the final say about the children?
This is a hard one, because I also think as mums, we do this thing, and I'm saying it as mums because I do it as well, where we kind of undermine the positioning of the dad. They are very much his children. They are very much his children. And in as much as you're doing this for the first time, he's doing this for the first time. And I also think understanding intention is, again, really important. If he's just posting for posting's sakes, and that's something that's crossing your boundary, then there is that conversation. But if he's posting because he's like, look, this is going to help further the collective family mission of, money on income and
Financial growth, yeah.
growth, also have to be able to sit with him and understand his reasoning and become and also learn to compromise. So it could be that, okay, fair enough, you don't want them posted every single day, so maybe you could compromise and say, okay, look, babe, if this is for the bigger goal, maybe we post them once a month or every 2 months, or maybe post their hand, post, you don't put their whole face out there. But I think that there has to be a position of compromise that you do come to with the other parent, especially if that man is an active dad, as in, like, these are very much his children, as in you have to also give him the grace of being able to make decisions for his children that feel right. And I think sometimes we forget that the people that we go and have these kids with, we must trust them to a certain, for some, like, this man must be a good man to some level for you to go and have a child with him. So if he's then making decisions, even though they may not make sense to you, you must trust the man that you've created these kids with to make certain decisions with these kids. I think I do it all the time. There's certain times where I'll be like, don't tell Nathaniel off like that. I don't like it. But I found holding back because even if I didn't feel like that telling off was necessary, this man I trust and that has shown me that he's a good man with good intentions for himself, his family, and his children, I have to allow him to parent however he sees fit, you know? So, yeah.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I think you raise a valid point, because I even think I make that error as well, where it's like, no, I know. And at the same time, it's like, my friend, you also joined these boots recently.
At the same time, like as you we got enjoyed at the same time.
At the same time, honestly. That's a fair point. I actually have never thought of it in that way as well. But thank you for that. I think that's why I like this show a lot, because even me as a host, I am learning. I don't know it all. So it's always nice to hear like a completely different perspective on the scenario, and a mum hotline as well. Okay, so we are now at our favorite part, support a mum section. Now, you do a lot of stuff, Ruth. You do a lot of stuff. So I want you to take this opportunity to tell us all the stuff that you do, how we can get involved, how we can support you, because it's important to like really help support mums doing bits outside of mum, because it's hard. It's hard. So yeah, take it away. What are you up to?
Yeah, outside of mumming, I'm a self-development and wellness coach. So I'd call myself like a wellness entrepreneur. I do many things with regards to brand consulting, coaching, community events and activations to just help people better understand the world of wellness and what it means to them. And part of that is I'm also the founder of a cold pressed elixir, as I like to call it. We've just recently launched in Selfridges, which is insane. But that came from my own personal journey of being a mum, of just trying to cultivate rituals that meant that I was feeding back into my body, and that I was, having those moments of calm in my day. And it was just fantastic. It was fantastic for my hair, my skin, my nails, and my overall vitality. And I wanted to make that accessible. And I wanted to make something that was functional, nutritious, and great. And we've been able to achieve that. So I'm really, really happy and glad with that. But yeah, I'm just a wellness babe, just trying to help people understand and hone into what wellness really means for them, outside of the titles as well, which I think is really important. Outside of the mom, outside of the wife, the this, the that. How are you being well, and what things are you doing to pull back into yourself is really, really important to me. And being able to create environments and rooms where people can learn the tools that they need in order to harness that it's important to me. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I do.
Well, that's fantastic. Amazing. Thank you so much. Now you get to close the show for us.
Oh,
yes. And we have a way for us to do this. I want you to finish the sentence. Ruth Pokes, are you ready?
Yes, I think.
Finish the sentence.
Okay.
A good mother is?
A good mother is patient with herself, patient with her babies, patient with her life. Just patient. Like, I think as a mom, we have to just rush and do everything. Everything is da-da-da-da-da. But you can't create in chaos. And ultimately, you're creating a life for these babies. You're creating a life for yourself. This is a new version of you that you've never experienced before. And I think being patient with yourself fundamentally is what makes you a good mother. Because you're learning and you're still a baby trying to do this thing, So a good mother is patient, I'd say.
Amazing. Thank you, Ruth Pokes. And that is it for another series of Good Mother. I am your host, Ezinne Asinugo-Onyeka. If today's conversation resonated with a change you are living through, consider sharing it with someone who may recognize themselves in it. You can follow the show wherever you get your podcast as we continue building an archive of honest, culturally rooted stories about identity, body, and becoming. I'm Ezinne. See you in the next episode.